Dragon's Dogma 2 has a problem, and I don't think that it's even the microtransactions, though that kind of sucks, but like, I think we've all moved on from that. I think the real problem here is that the music really doesn't do anything. I spent 28.4 hours in the game, and I explored it to my heart's content. I was very satisfied. Beyond the fact that the ending was very bad, I don't remember any of the music. The only thing I remember is all the stuff from Dragon's Dogma 1. End of the struggle, bump, 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 bump. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, the boss at the end, it's pretty cool, but the boss, I was so like, why am I even fighting this thing? It felt so tacked on, I was so annoyed. And it made me think about this conversation that we've been having around the idea of ambient versus melodic music. And ambient music in this game is fine, it's fine, but it's just forgettable. There's nothing about it that's mesmerizing or entrancing or things that make me want to like remember it. There's nothing to remember. What is there to remember? I don't mean to come on here and just like shit on it, like, because I know that composition is hard, and I know that making music is hard, and I know that it's like a real easy thing right now to kind of poopy all over Dragon's Dogma 2. I had a great time with Dragon's Dogma 2. I got a little bit tired of the same enemies all the time, and I felt like if I did have to backtrack, it was literally like every 3 feet. It might as well have just been turn-based combat where you don't know when the encounter is going to happen. But it's got me so hyped that I actually went back and started playing Dragon's Dogma 1. And I actually like Dragon's Dogma 1 more than Dragon's Dogma 2. They're essentially the same game anyway. But I want to skim through some of this soundtrack and because I just have to know what a lot of this sounds like. That's the opening movie of Dragon's Dogma 1. And the thing is that once we are in this soundscape, we understand a couple different things. What do we understand? You tell me. Well, I'll tell you anyway. We understand that we are in a Western medieval soundscape. Obviously, we could tell that just from looking at it, but also musically, right away, we hear a chorus, we hear beautiful movement, we hear a sense of mystery, a sense of exploration, a sense that like we're diving into a world that is expansive and big, and we don't really know what we're going to find there. And I like that. I love that soundscape. And then I'm going to go over here. There's tension in that. Ooh. Yeah, see, that's great. I mean, that's an invitation, right? That's like, let's have a party. Let's get to it. This is a place that we're going to challenge ourselves. There's a couple interesting things that happen here melodically. We're moving in unison with the violins and with the trumpets. Right, and also with the chorus. This is like a really nice soundscape. And that, honestly, that is more memorable to me than Dragon's Dogma 2. That alone. And then obviously we get the main theme, you know, which is so beautifully vocal. It's like church bells, and there's a little bit of harpsichord in there. Long sustained notes over the singing. A little bit of piano tease in there, and then... I love that harmony there. A little dissonance in there. Piano comes in and plays the harmony, locking us in. And in a way, this is really medieval, obviously, but it really gets us set into when we push start. You know, you get that flaming background. Just the way that she's singing, too, it's very flawed in a way. But it's the melody, and then we go up a little bit. That's what makes that beautiful. right? I want to listen to a couple more tracks. How about Cessardis? I mean, Cessardis is so beautiful. Gosh. Yeah. Yeah, oh my god, that's stunning. Yeah, 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 yeah. And then we thrust into it. Listen to that. Coming down, we're humming home, and we're home. That large support there. Damn. Love this drum pattern underneath. That's stunning. Cessardis has one of the most beautiful themes. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's so real. It's so like raw. And I also love how we get the sense of the island beach nature with the drums in there. And then also we get this beautiful piano that really aids the singer over top. It's just great. I mean, what else is in here? I'm just going to listen to them in random. Witchwood. Yeah, I love the harp in there. It really gives it a quality of mystery and intrigue. And also, like, too, like, one of the things that I'm really liking about the Dragon's Dogma 1, Dark Arisen, in Dragon's Dogma 2, we have the lyre, we have other things like that. In this, we are using, like, much more thickly orchestrated pieces. So, again, I don't think it's a problem, per se. Dragon's Dogma 1 is a different kind of game than Dragon's Dogma 2, even though structurally, as gameplay experiences, they are the same. Dragon's Dogma 2 is trying really hard, which it succeeds at, in my opinion, being a Lord of the Rings, hyper-realistic, photorealistic experience. Whereas in Dragon's Dogma 1, I still feel like we're retaining, even though at the time, 11 years ago, at the time it was pretty, like, exceptionally revolutionary to have a game that was not hand-holdy at all. And this is essentially what adult Monster Hunter in a way. There's something about this that is just, the music here is much thicker and much more, it embraces you in a different way than the Dragon's Dogma 1, which is really pared back. Like, you really don't know which way you're going to go there, right? So you're all over the place. But that indicates to me, Witchwood, it indicates to me that there are probably witches in Witchwood. There is a sound quality there that is uncomfortable. There is a feeling in this music that makes me feel like, oh, this is a dangerous place, right? I shouldn't be here. The harp gives it a sense of peace or femininity. The way that the notes are being played and the notes that are being played themselves have an essential quality of distortion and discomfort. And then you get the vocals in the background like an echo, which makes it sound like, oh my god, they're out there somewhere in the woods, they're hiding behind the trees, right? And then you get a little bit of string, the woody quality of the string per se, but that's really like haunting. What's tense combat right after? Yeah. The percussion in here is so volatile and so heavy. It's heavy-handed with the percussion, which allows it to feel more desperate. I also think that the strings having really long bowing underneath, while we have this ferocious drumming, is actually really satisfying. There's something about the sustained quality in there that makes it feel slightly more desperate, but the drums really bring in that volatile intensity to like, oh, you have to fight this, but there's a real tenacity there. You know what's odd is that I did buy the microtransaction of the sound effects from DD1 into DD2. Weirdly, the fight music for your tense combat basic stuff in Dragon's Dogma 2 is actually more pulled back than in Dragon's Dogma here, which is much more sort of vicious or much more intense. Hold on one second. And then the guitar playing too, of course. I love that intensity in there with the strings. It's great. The electric guitar is awesome. Yeah, there's very little to like, but actually the Road to Grand Soren is such a cool track when you're escorting the Hydra. And that's the thing. Again, I'm not trying to shit on Dragon's Dogma 2 per se, but like even when we get to Batal, I didn't necessarily feel like we really had anything that had this kind of musicality to it, which this is phenomenal. Road to Grand Soren, you got the drums, you got the strings, like this is really good. You know, and while I was playing this, I was thinking to myself, like, okay, what am I listening to? Like, why do I like this? And I think what it really comes down to for me is that I love the way that the drums move. I love the percussion, boom, 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 boom. But then it's the weird like flute instrument. Like it's like, wow, we're escorting this Hydra head. We are literally so vulnerable. And yet there is gumption in there, and it does feel like we're in a new place, right? We're moving away from our homeland, Cessardis. We're moving into something new. We're thrust into a new situation. We're going to Grand Soren, and we just don't know what is going to be here. I still love that little house that's at the top of the ridge there, and you know, it's like, why would someone want to live here? There's goblins and harpies everywhere. Like, man, this is a rough spot to live in. And then I stole from them. The lower tones. Yeah, like it's really hard to not enjoy that. The lower men and the women over top I actually think symbolize our party as we're moving through the cavernous caves here, the you know, with the giant arches and stuff, when it feels like we're in the middle of a canyon. That's like a desperation, like we have a job, we have to get this Hydra head to Grand Soren, we have to do this, right? So I think like that represents the people that are with us as we march through this journey. But yeah, the intensity there is just really interesting. I want to fast forward to Griffin Roars in the Heavens. I don't know that I've actually heard this. I love the whirling of the strings there. And then you also get the size. Now, the Griffins are really scary, actually. I spent a lot of my playthrough in Dragon's Dogma 2 looking out in the distance and just seeing this thing just like flying out. And I'm like, oh, please don't come down. And then it's like the Basilgeist effect of Monster Hunter, where it's like, ba, 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 ba. Like just the heft of this creature as it descends and it just sort of plops onto you. And then it's just a violent creature. But the slow plotting in that is really satisfying, especially in the strings. But then you also get this whirling motion in the violins, which makes you feel like, oh my god, it's flying around, like it won't stop. I can't even hit it. Love the fear in here, right? Lots of doubling here. The lower brass really gives it a bit of a bite. Swirling. You hear how it swirls there with the strings and the violins and the horns as we go up. And the chorus comes in. The tension in the string. This is very classical writing. Da 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 da. That's so beautiful with the horn. That's a conflict right there. Wow. Short, 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 short. And then adding the chorus in there is just just hammering away. That's so good. Big slamming again. Nice, nice descending there. It's like, oh, what's this? What's coming towards me? I don't think this is in Dragon's Dogma 2, but that is incredibly satisfying. And I love that it's this really difficult battle against this thing. As we descend, but then we move into End of the Struggle, and this, I really like this piece actually. This is that big, like, let's go. Yeah. Is this the... This doesn't sound like the one I heard. The drums here are more pronounced. Ba, 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 ba. No, this is a melody. Is that the electric guitar? It is. I love the chorus in here. Oh, no. That random drum set in the back. Yeah, I mean, I did have the sound pack, so like I heard some of that in Dragon's Dogma 2, but that is just so much more intense for me, and it's way more satisfying. Oh, let's listen to Coils of Light from Dark Arisen. Using the child voice there, doubled with the violin. There's a lot of underpinning support there. I wonder what the lyrics are, but there was a sense there of resolution and a childlike feeling of peace almost, which I really liked. Yeah, and the violin is acting in counter melody with the voice and the piano. And you hear, that's really pretty, but listen to the back half of this has, also has a different singer in it, so there's a double harmony, but it's really tight even though she's higher up, so there's a delicacy in that. Wow. Big shift, okay. Strings kicking in. Nice horn pronouncing there. That's really ferocious. There's that harmony again. More doubling. Strings take over in the melody. Wow. Oh, they said it. I'm all by and grand design. It sounds like the main theme. Have you noticed that there's been this slow buildup that we've experienced? That's really cool. So we start and it's really intimate, it's really personal. There's 3 instruments, right? Then we shift, and then the voice always retains with the 2 voices. They always retain, and then we keep moving forward. We're adding more instrumentation. We're adding more stakes. We're adding more intensity. We're adding more just gas to it. The vocals, though, are always pure, and also like listen to the lyrics. All riven, kilth, and kin, all given for this, a never-ending riddle. My flesh worn, heart betorn, mind by memored as I wander cold and amain. Whither now, my mother, my flame, and along the coils of light, the life I desired, anon must we part. Words like a dart, red and dire, ain that accord with their heart. Oh, how I ever have seen the dragon's dogma, unbound by time, all binding grand design. Land and skies and seas yearn, finish the cycle of eternal return. Where thou pullest this boy from the sand, this thou his bearded with brand, and within the coils of light, when our blades took flight, what future didst thou envision, as I keep this frozen demesne, within now mine, my mother, my flame, and along the coils of life, the life I desired. Something happened. What happened? Now we get the drums in here. But the child singing stays the same, stays pure. Doubling in the violins, supporting him as he slides up. This frozen demon. The piano accenting things in there. Nice, we slow down at the end. It's actually super galvanizing. The drums really take us off in a new direction. Love the violin in there too. That's like your quintessential ballad, and it's so incredibly good. That is so satisfying to listen to. It's so peaceful. I assume this happens near the end of Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. So you've like fought all of these things, and now you're here, and you're saying farewell to this game that has given you, it has taken away from you, it has beaten the crap out of you, it has made you feel like a king, a dragon-defying king, and then you end with Coils of Light. My goodness. So this is my issue. My issue is just that, like, as we move forward with Dragon's Dogma, I hope that they return to form in this idea that ambient music is good and it does tell a story, but the melody aspect of so much of this is vitally important in order for us to feel fulfilled. It just is. It's an essential, integral part, and so much of Dragon's Dogma's soundtrack has been delivering that for me much more than Dragon's Dogma II did. And I'm really excited to keep playing Dragon's Dogma 1. It's been very fun. So with that, I will see you on the next one. Bye.